All right, Jeremy Miner, welcome to today's live. Now, today we brought on a special guest. So if you've been following us for a while here in Seventh Level or the Sales Revolution Facebook group or YouTube or the Facebook business page or LinkedIn, because we're going live on all those channels right now. If you've been following us every single Wednesday, week after week after week, for probably the last 2.5 years, we interview a client from a completely different industry and we break down their sales structure and how they've used NEPQ to apply it to actually what they sell. Now, today, I wanted to do something a little bit differently. A lot of you are always coming to us like, hey, I'm looking for a new sales job, or I'm looking to get into a new type of sales career or a new type of industry. And a lot of times we have people that ask us like, hey, what do I need to say in interviews? Like, how can I position myself better to get into better opportunities, better industries? Now that I have these NEPQ sales skills, obviously, if you're a client, you have those. How do I position myself to earn more? What are companies asking? What are they looking for to be able to hire me so I can make more money, get better compensation, maybe get more health benefits, like all that stuff? How do you get better packages? And it doesn't matter if you sell business to consumer or business to business, all right? Or even business to government, B2G, B2G, B2B, or B2C. So today I wanted to bring out a client who's actually been with us, I want to say like almost 3 years. It's kind of like right in the beginning of the days of Seventh Level, just after we started, maybe 6-7 months after we started. This client came in and, she was new to sales. She took NEPQ by the horn and started making multiple 6 figures a year at her first job. And she's just progressed and progressed more and kept progressing. And now she's in a full-time, she's got her own recruiting agency. And she talks, her and her people you're talking hundreds of companies in different industries. And she's going to go over what employers are actually looking for. Okay. And she's going to talk about some different things that we taught her that are going to help you. All right. So I'm going to bring her out here. Kelsey, how are you today? Kelsey ONeill.
Hey, Jeremy. I'm great. Excited to be here.
All the way over on the East Coast there in South Carolina. Now, this is interesting because I'm gonna have you go over like some different things that employers are asking when your agency is talking to them. Now, let's do this first. Let's get this out of the way because everybody always asks me if you're brand new to our calls. And you don't know who I am, because we are going live on like 5 different platforms. I'm Jeremy Miner. So I'm the founder, the original founder of Seventh Level. I'm not even the CEO or chairman anymore. I got stripped of all those titles, just the boring founder guy. But Seventh Level, we're an organization that trains salespeople exactly like you watching me and Kelsey right now. Okay. So we train sales professionals like you, sales executives like you, sales managers like you, leadership like you, entrepreneurs, business owners, coaches, consultants. It doesn't matter. And we show you how to use certain techniques and different questions, very skilled questions with the right tone that work with human behavior, that get your prospects to pull you in and sell themselves rather than you trying to push and pressure and force your way through. Okay. Because like we always say, thank you, Isaac. Like we always say, why do you want to do all of the work yourself and try to sell them and push and pressure and follow up and chase, when you can learn techniques and certain questions, especially with your right tone, that get your prospects to do all the work, that get your prospects to sell themselves, that get your prospects to pull you in and chase you, which is going to be a lot funner for you and which actually makes you a lot more money and comfortable in sales. So we're going to talk about that. Now, I want each of you, because we have to teach you the right tone on how to do that. It's not just the question. So what I want each of you to do is go down to the bottom of your phone, whether you're on the Facebook group, LinkedIn, YouTube, the Facebook business page, my Facebook, and I want you to go smash the heart button, and I'm going to have you smash the like button. So smash the heart button, smash the like button. Also, if you're on the live right now, because I'm not going to have her reveal some of these secrets to you guys without you smashing the heart button and smashing the like button.
Give us some love.
Give us some love. Now, if you're on the live right now, go to your comments on your phone, and I want you to post #live. So if you're on live right now, go post #live. If you're on the replay, go post #replay. So if you're on the live, go post #live. If you're on the replay, go post #replay. And if you want to start acquiring the same skills that Kelsey has acquired, that you're talking tens of thousands of our clients have now acquired just in the last couple of years, you want to start making your first 10 grand a month in commissions, or your first 15,000 with what you sell. Or let's say you want to start making 20 grand every month in your industry, or 25 or 30 grand or 40 grand plus every month in your industry. Message me directly right now. Okay. Message me if you're on LinkedIn, Facebook group, my Facebook business page, message me directly right now. YouTube, you can't message me on that platform. You'll have to join our Facebook group here, which we have the salesrevolution.pro banner flying around there. Just join that and you can message me directly and we can go over some different industry specific options we have if you want to make that type of income that our clients are making who sell exactly what you are right now. Okay, Kelsey, I'm losing my brain here. Nobody cares about
All good.
Nobody cares about me here. They just care about themselves and what we're going to give them. All right. So tell us a little bit about your story. First of all, I need to ask, were you born out of your mother's womb with advanced questioning skills?
Oh, I don't know. They've told me I'm pretty persistent and pretty demanding, but no, I don't think I had the persuasion skills that I do now.
So were you born out of your mother's womb with advanced tonality skills?
Definitely not.
And were you born out of your mother's womb with advanced objection prevention and handling skills?
No.
Okay, so what you're suggesting to all of us is that those skills are acquired. Those skills
100%.
you learn if you
Yes.
want to make that money. All right, so walk us back to May of 2020 before you found us at, with NEPQ. We were a small company then. What were you doing? How did you even get into the training 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a big believer and agree with you that sales is a skill set, not a personality. So May 2020. Okay. So my background is actually, I got started in ministry out of college 10 years ago and fundraising, and then began working for a business coach. And so I was doing some client success and sales with that role. But May in 2020, like the thick of the pandemic, right? I mean, we were like locked in our houses still. It was terrifying. I hated my job. I was working a ton of hours, super stressed, and I was salaried. And so I was really scared to quit because at that moment, our Airbnb income had shut down. My husband was furloughed. And, I'm like, shit, I need to quit my job, but am I going to go 100% commission? Like, this is terrifying. Like, it's the world's ending. We're going to die. Like, what's happening? Right. So I, found NEPQ and did one of your workshops and was like, it really came down to like, I was terrified, to make the investment, but I was more terrified of not making the investment. Like,
so it was more risky for you to do nothing at all, staying in the status quo, and your problems stay the same than it was just to get the funding together and learn the skills to make more money. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It was going to be way more riskier for me to try to figure out sales on my own than to get, the training that I needed to actually learn the skill and really master it. And, it's like, okay, if I'm going to jump 100% commission, like I need to take the full leap and go all in here. So I dove into NEPQ and that was kind of the beginning of everything for me. And so I became the top closer on my sales team within the first month, and then have been, near the top on almost every team that I've been on. And I've had the opportunity. So one of the best things I got plugged into was actually a really cool virtual sales team. And so not to toot my own horn, but I've gotten to sell for some pretty big names now, like Brooke Castillo and Pete Vargas, Grant Cardone. Graziosi, like all kinds of really cool people. So it's just opened up so many doors of opportunity for me that I'm like super grateful for.
So you've been crushing it, making multiple six figures a year. Now, once you learned NEPQ, take us back to that. So even after the, because you're not going to be a full master. Because I always laugh when people are like, oh, I'm just going to watch their free YouTube videos or free IG reels. I'm like, well, we don't even give you 1% of our client training on free stuff. Like that's basic stuff. Like if you don't understand the whole puzzle, like from connection questions to situation to problem awareness to solution awareness, and how to use your tone at each stage and with what questions, and if they say this, you're going to ask this. If they do this, you're going to do that. Then you're just hoping and praying that a few little tips are going to magically make you multiple six figures a year or higher. And that's just not realistic, right? You're going to have to be in our virtual training courses like our clients are if you want to make 2, 3, 5 times what you are. You're not going to get that from free YouTube videos or IG reels. So once you got into the client portal and started going through the advanced material, how did your prospects start to shift with you? What did you notice which was changing when you were talking to them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, it's not like I was terrible at sales. Like I was coming in with a baseline knowledge.
Yeah.
But more than anything, like I wasn't having that much fun. Like earlier you mentioned like, oh, we're going to show you how to have fun. And that's
Yeah.
probably the most important thing. I mean, now instead of feeling like I was battling my like, I loved sales, but I loved sales when the conversation went well. And that's like, what, 20% of the time.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time I was feeling like, oh, do I really have the skill to handle these concerns that are coming up without like these
Yeah.
old school techniques that were like manipulative and felt
Yeah.
pushy. And I would get
Yeah.
off the call feeling like, well, I sold them, but like that didn't feel good.
Yeah.
So it just totally changed the game because it gave me the confidence that
Mm.
I could actually help people and serve
Yeah.
them, and that I wasn't like strong arming people into
Yeah.
decisions that
Because we
didn't.
know that doesn't work that well, because when we strong arm people, when we push, Human Behavior 101 says they push back, right?
Mhm.
So what you
Right.
had been forced to learn from the old, the traditional selling techniques, or even consultative selling questions that are just really
Yeah.
surface level, is that you were forced to believe and learn that you needed to do all the work. You needed to sell them. You needed to push them. You needed to, persuade them into doing what you wanted them to do. And that just caps you at a certain level. It doesn't matter how great
Mhm.
you are, you're just going to get capped, just like
Yeah.
Matt was. He even got up to 20 grand a month selling that way before any PQ, but he was capped. He's like, dude, I can't make more. I can't work double the hours. Like, I'm stressed out. I have anxiety all the time. So
Yeah.
when you started learning NEPQ, you learned how to get your prospects to let their guard down, to
Yes.
disarm them, or they just opened up and they trusted you to tell you what their real problems were and then go below the surface. That's when we get our prospects to do all the work.
Mhm.
That's when we get them to sell themselves on wanting to change your situation. And that's what I mean when selling becomes fun, because your objections go way down. And even if they do have a concern here or there, because you know how to build such a big gap from where they are compared to where they want to be with your questioning and tonality ability, it's very easy for you to help them overcome it because they trust you. They
Mhm.
don't feel like you're manipulating them by, some type of rebuttal. All right. So
Yeah, exactly.
you learn those skills, and were those skills because you've been in a few different sales roles since then. It's not like
Mhm.
you just stayed in the same industry.
Right.
You took those to different companies that
Oh,
were
yeah.
selling different things. How did you learn how to transfer them to a completely different product or service?
Yeah, so that's a great point. I mean, I've sold so many different things. Amazon FBA, real estate investing, business coaching, marketing, relationship coaching, financial services, like all different kinds of things.
Yeah.
Since I've worked on this, virtual team, I've gotten to be behind the scenes in a lot of different offers.
Yeah.
And it's really about understanding sales psychology, and if you understand the process of any PQ, of what you're taking them through, you're really understanding like what's happening in their mind.
Mhm.
And, like you said, like, it's communication, it's
Yeah.
influence.
Yeah.
And, I use this with my husband, like
Yeah.
this
Well,
improved my marriage, guys. I
once
mean,
you understand, yeah, because that's how we're able to go in and duplicate in every industry we train.
yeah,
We train 158 different industries that are all different from each other. So how do we go in and duplicate in every single industry? It's because of buyer psychology, because we understand how the brain works, right? We're not just transactional selling. We're understanding what causes a prospect to say yes compared to say no. We
Mhm.
understand how to trigger them to let their guard down. We understand what causes them to want to open up compared to staying surface level. And once you understand those things, when you go to a completely different industry, once you understand what problems and or emotional needs that product or service solves, and then how you solve them, then it's easy to write your sales structure around that using APQ. And that's how it's duplicatable, because we can go in and we can train all salespeople to crush it, not just a few people at the top are using their personality and then everybody else can't figure it out.
Yes, yes. Okay. I actually have a good friend who I love her dearly, but she thinks she's really great at sales, and it's really just she's got a fantastic charismatic personality. And I've been like, girl, you got to learn NPQ. Like your sales are going to skyrocket. So
Yeah.
again, I'll say it, sales is a skill set, not a personality, and you've really got to have the right skills. And when you have the
Yeah.
right skills, it makes you like bulletproof. And so
Yeah.
I think, it really helps my confidence.
It's so true, because if you personality sell, because we see it all the time, there'll be a top salesperson that, let's say they're really good at selling cars, and then they'll make a career change and go over to insurance, and they just can't figure it out. They just suck. Or they'll go from insurance and they'll sell cybersecurity and B2B, and they don't know what they're doing. It's because they're personality selling and they don't understand human behavior.
Yep.
But if they understand NEBQ, they can go to sell cybersecurity day and be one of the top, if not the top salespeople in the entire company industry, and then go sell cars, be at the very top there. 3 months later, go sell real estate education. 4 months later, they're selling vacuum cleaners door to door. It doesn't matter. Now, let's talk about, so you're a full-time recruiter now. You've got this recruiting agency. So you and your team you're talking to hundreds of different employers all over the globe. Give us maybe the 3 biggest things that they are specifically looking for when they're talking to you and your team to find good candidates for, like, you're talking big time commission roles, big perks. What are they looking for? 3 biggest things. Let's give that to everybody.
Yeah. So if I had to pick out 3 things that employers are looking for and the things that they come to me, like what comes to mind is, so the first one to really make yourself stand out is your authority and expertise. And so I think there are a few different ways to convey that. So I think the easiest way is really having like a personal brand and branding yourself on social media, and communicating your expertise in your niche. Like if you're in, tech sales or insurance sales, like really showing yourself as an expert in that industry. And then also, sharing your expertise around sales automatically positions you as an expert and gives you that, authority with the employers that you're interviewing with. And then also, when you're interacting with prospects, of course, that's going to.
Yeah. And I think, because we obviously we train a lot of companies, because a lot of companies will come to us besides sales training and they'll say, hey, what are some good things we need to be asking salespeople to find out the good ones between the bad ones? Because the problem with using like personality tests, let me give everybody a really big example. So when I applied for my first sales job, selling cars for Larry H. Miller in Salt Lake City, Utah, when I was going to school there, they gave me a DISC personality test and I actually failed it. They said, I don't think you're cut out for sales. They told me that I wasn't cut out for sales. And I took them like, I guess I'm just not good at sales. I don't know. And then you're talking like I was internationally ranked in the top 50 in the entire world selling anything, like 7 years later, making almost $3 million a year in commissions, yet I couldn't pass the DISC personality test. So Larry H. Miller, if you're listening, you might not want to rely on personality tests because you probably missed out on a lot of revenue I could have made for you. So personality tests they're not 100, like people that rely on them, they just because they feel like, oh, it's just their personality that's going to cause them to sell more. But being a top salesperson is not based on your personality. It's based on your skill sets and what you learn. Okay. So what we train them to ask is how much and we'll say like, okay, in the last 12 months, how much did you personally invest into sales training so you can learn how to sell more? And if that salesperson's like, well, I bought 1 book and the company I used to work for brought in a trainer for a couple of days, they're going to go down on the totem pole compared to the salesperson that says, well, I bought this course for $2,000. I read about 12 books on sales. I went to 2 sales seminars where I've invested my own money. That salesperson in their mind shows that they're really serious about their profession and they want to keep learning so they sell more to make more money, which obviously makes the company more money. That's a big question a lot of them are starting to ask, not how much the company you work for trained you, but how much did you personally spend of your own money learning those skills? What have you
100%. And that's what I'm talking about with like authority and expertise. If you see yourself as a true expert in sales, like, I mean, forget about being a solar rep or like an insurance agent. Like you need to view yourself as an expert at sales and invest in your craft.
Yeah.
And so, like branding yourself that way and spending the time and the money to buy the courses, hire the coaches, like really treat it like your career, like you probably.
Yeah. It's like if you're a neurosurgeon, I mean, how are you going to go? How's a hospital going to give you a job if you've never invested in your education to be a great neurosurgeon to perform surgeries? So many salespeople think, oh, I'll just learn how to sell after I get hired. Well, no, if you don't start off selling well when you get hired, you're going to get fired quickly.
Real fast.
And it's going to be very hard to ever get another sales job. You want to learn how to sell before you get the job.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And they often will rely on like, oh, well, the company will have sales training. Well, do you want to rely on the company's sales training, or do you want to take it into your own hands and feel confident about the skills that you have
Yeah.
and feel in alignment? Because so many companies are still, we need to get the NEPQ message out further, because so many companies are still using the old school techniques, and it feels so gross. Like,
Yeah.
I was on a call the other day with a company, and I was like, oh my God, I want to get off this call immediately. Like, so
What?
much sales resistance, like,
Yeah.
just, ugh.
Okay, so that's the first thing. What's the second biggest thing you're noticing employers are asking?
Yeah. So they're asking for people who really are confident selling, like, just practically, they're asking for people who are confident selling via Zoom. So, I work
Mm.
with a lot of I work with remote roles. And so they're looking for people who understand, they need to show up as a professional. Again, so it kind of goes back to that showing up as an expert. Like, as an expert, I'm going to show up with a dedicated space to host sales calls and have a clean, clear background, that looks professional, and, be well dressed, all of that good stuff. But really being confident with being able to sell via Zoom. And I think that plays
So
right
they're
into,
looking for salespeople that, because a lot of it has gone virtual sales in most industries. Now, there are some exceptions, obviously, but most industries have like a virtual aspect where they want people to be able to, like, hey, how's your office space look at your house if you're selling from home? Like, are you gonna have, like, crap all over the floor and your cat's jumping around your head, or what does it look like? Like, you have a great background back there. That
yeah,
type of thing.
thanks. Yeah, I'll see people like sitting on their couch or something and filming an interview, and it's like, I mean, your background's clear, but we can tell you're on the couch, and it's just like, would you show up and sit and talk to a prospect while you're talking on the couch? Like,
Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah. So if you're a salesperson, listen,
not a
that's
good
one
look.
thing you'd really need to look at, right? Okay.
Mhm. You need to look the part, and you need to, like, it just goes back to that authority and expertise. Like, how are you showing up?
Yeah.
And when you've invested in yourself and invested in your skills, and, put the thought into crafting your social media profile, and
Yeah.
your thought into crafting your office space, it shows that, like, you are 100% here to do
Yeah.
business,
You're a
and you're
serious
not messing around.
professional. Yeah, you're a serious professional that takes selling seriously, not just like another job where you can make a buck or
Yeah,
two. 100%. All right,
exactly.
and then the third thing you've been
Yeah.
noticing lately, tell us what the third thing is a lot of employers are asking.
Yeah. So, I mean, people come to me in particular because they know that I have done NEPQ, and they know that I'm well connected in the space, and they are looking for reps. Specifically, it's not what they come to me looking for, it's what they come to me looking away from. They're like, hey, I do not want to hire someone who is pushy. I don't want to hire someone who's going to hard sell. Like, I want to make sure that the person that I hire is in alignment with our company culture, our values, and really relates to my
Yeah.
prospects and understands their problems,
Yeah.
and is going to speak to them in a way that opens them up.
Yeah.
And the worst thing ever, right? Like, I'll hear companies, leaders come to me all the time, and they're like, I hired this rep, I gave them my best leads, and they just burned through them. And now those people, like, don't even want to talk to us anymore. So that's
So,
the,
so they want reps who've been certified in one of our NEPQ training programs. Now, when
yeah.
Kelsey's saying that they don't want reps that are pushy, do you know why? Because they know that that doesn't work. That
Yeah.
means that those reps that are over aggressive and pushy don't make that many sales, right? Because if it worked, if pushiness just worked and companies scaled to the billions just being pushy without playing the numbers game, then everybody want pushy salespeople. But they
Right.
come to you because they know it doesn't work. They want salespeople who've learned NEPQ, who knows how to get the prospects to emotionally open up and go below the surface and actually tell the salesperson what's really going on. Whereas most salespeople just stay surface level with their questions, and they don't have the skills to be able to get the prospect to want to open up, right?
Mhm.
And okay, so
Yeah.
what else along with that? Why is that so important for them?
Well, yeah, I mean, just some thoughts with that. Like, you were asking like how that changed my relationship with my prospects. I mean, I regularly will have people be like, okay, so like what's your social media? Like, can I follow you? Like we'll get off the call and they like are following up with me like because they want to connect with me outside of the sales conversation because they feel like we have such a relationship
Yeah.
because they've opened up so much. And so,
Yeah.
we're having these fantastic conversations that feel like genuine relationships because
Yeah.
they are.
Because
And so,
and what Kelsey's talking about, these are structured conversations. They're not
right.
Kelsey like, how's the weather? How you doing? Like that's not cheesy stuff. Like what
No.
she's doing is she's learning EPQ. She's learned how to work with human behavior. So her questions and the way her tone comes across causes the prospect to feel comfortable enough to trust her, to open up to her. And when your prospect gets to that point, it doesn't matter if you sell B2B, B2C, B2G, it doesn't matter. When your prospects get to that point, she knows how to get them into what's called results-based thinking over price or cost-based thinking. And when she gets them to that point, they start to view her as like the trusted authority, the expert who understands their unique situation the most. And who is the prospect going to buy from 99% of the time? The salesperson who in the company who they feel understands their unique situation the most, or the salesperson that just keeps pushing and pressuring them to make money? I think
Mhm.
everybody knows the answer to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I was just at actually a well-known sales trainers event with another team,
Mhm.
and it was kind of like our team versus their team.
Mhm.
And his style is very, very pushy and aggressive.
Yeah.
And our style is focused on solving the problem and really helping people and hearing them.
Uh-huh.
And it was just really interesting because I literally would have the people at the event like coming up to us being like, oh my gosh, like these sales reps are like tracking me down. Like I came to talk to you because I knew you would like do me right, And so,
Right. It could be a problem. Yeah.
you don't want to be the person that people are literally running away from. So it's just so important people are valuing relationships more than any, I
Yeah.
mean, they've always valued relationships,
And
but
you can only build relationships by knowing what questions to ask and how to use your tone
Mhm.
to influence the prospect to pull you in and sell themselves rather than you trying to push them and pressure them into it, because that's external sales pressure. What Kelsey's talking about is she's learned how to get them to feel so much internal tension that they feel from where they are to where they want to be. That internal tension from her question and tone causes them to feel and see what their real problems are and what's causing the problem and how it's affecting them and where they want to be, what their future is going to look like once all the newfound problems are solved. That causes massive urgency to be triggered in the prospect's mind, where they view people like Kelsey and our clients as the experts, as the authorities who's going to get them where they want to be.
Mhm.
Thanks for being on here,
Yeah.
Kelsey.
Yeah. I mean, good questions allow people to persuade themselves. I think that's a Jeremy Minor quote right there. So
There you go.
I
Somewhere back in the day. I like it. All right, Kelsey.
grateful to be here. Thank you for all you've taught me.
Hey, thanks for giving us those 3 tips that you're hearing from employers. So everybody out there, you want to get better sales opportunities, you got to get much better in your sales ability compared to where you are now. Even if you're already making a few $100,000 a year in commissions, well, how do you go to 300,000 a year or 400 or 500,000 a year in your industry or other industries? You acquire more advanced skills. All right. Now, do you want to start acquiring those skills? Because we just gave you a little bit here today. It was more of an interview about, what employers are asking rather than breaking down a sales process. You want to start acquiring those skills like Kelsey and tens of thousands of other clients are, many of them in the same exact industry as you are watching me right now. Kelsey, message me directly right now. So if you're in the Facebook group, Sales Revolution, there's almost 65,000 of you guys in there. When you started in the Facebook group, I think there was like 200.
Yeah, like literally 200.
There's
Yeah.
like 67,000, I don't even know in there. Or if you're on LinkedIn or the Facebook business page, almost 100,000 of you follow me on that, or my Facebook or YouTube. Message me directly right now. Either myself or someone on our team will message you back some different training options that you have if you want to acquire those skills to make that type of money with what you sell. Kelsey, thanks for being on here. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate you.
Enjoy the
Seriously.
summer out there. Thank
Wouldn't be
you.
here without you. So thank you.
You're too nice. Thank you very much. All right, everybody. We'll see everybody next week. There will be no live tomorrow. I've got a lot of meetings, so I'm not going live tomorrow. I will be coming back live in the Facebook group, salesrevolution.pro. The banner's right there. Next Tuesday, normal time, 6:15 p.m. Eastern. Thanks, Kelsey. Take care. Tell your husband we said hi.
All right.